Hi, my name's Sam Adams, and this is my sixth podcast. When I looked at what the requirements were, it really took me by surprise because, I'm not probably like most people who have this inspirational person that I've followed most of my life, or, I look up to and try to emulate them, or anything like that. The animation field is really fairly new to me. I used to want to do sports or be an astronaut or just write a book or I've wanted to do so many different things in my life that, I never really stuck to one, person that I looked up to. But, the more I kept thinking about it and the person that really inspired me to come to Full Sail to want to do animation was an author, and his name's R.A. Salvatore. He was born in Massachusetts. His actual name's Robert Anthony Salvatore. Most people just call him Bob, but he actually got his inspiration for writing from the Lord of the Rings books. He's 50 some years old, but everyone started somewhere, and most people in the in that science fiction fantasy world, a lot of them probably did get their starts from Lord of the Rings. It's one of the most well-known science fiction books. His first job was for TSR, doing writing for the Forgotten Realms, whole line of books and stuff. And it was actually, I watched a little biography on him, and he was saying that when he got the job, the lady called him up that was working there and was saying, I'm about to go into a meeting and I need to try to pitch your book to him. She's like, what's your sidekick character's name gonna be? And he's just like, Drizador, and he just makes it up off the top of his head because it was just supposed to be this sidekick character, but it ended up becoming the main character that most of his book series are based off of, and it's this dark elf, also known as the Drow, and he's this awesome fighter. No one compares to him, and his main character was supposed to be this barbarian, and funny how things turned out, but he ended up going on to write a few Star Wars books, the Vector Prime and Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. He's known really well for Vector Prime because he kills off Chewbacca and everyone hated him for it. He's also worked on video games. He did a video game for the Forgotten Realms. It's called Demon Stone. He was nominated for awards by the Academy of Interactive Arts and Science. And he edited a 4-book series based on the EverQuest game, which I'm sure most of you people are aware or know what the EverQuest game is. It's real huge. He also wrote the bot chat responses for Quake 3, and now actually he works for 38 Studios with Kurt Schilling and Todd McFarlane, creating The Reckoning and a few other games. He's a creator of worlds for them, and he does a lot of stuff. He still writes books. He's still coming out with books. He sold over 10 million copies of just the Drizzt series alone. And there's supposed to be like 6 more coming out, and he writes books with his son, and he's still huge in the writing business, but then he's also kind of touched into the video games and movies and stuff, because he was saying in his biography that video game sales outnumber book sales and movie sales combined, and the difference just keeps growing. And so he's a smart man. He found a way to take his talent and his love and put it into other forms to keep the money coming in, because everyone needs money to live. He's just very inspirational in the way that he writes his books. He's known for his battle scenes, his fight sequences, because he's so in-depth about it. You can see every move that they're doing in your head. Every twist and turn of their body, every slash of the sword. You can just picture that just from words written on a piece of paper. And to me, I try to use that in my animation, If there's no sound to an animation, you have to get across what is going on just by movements of the body and express emotion in that. And that's what I mean. I feel like have taken in from his writing ability is just to be able to express things in other ways that you wouldn't expect it to be expressed in. He's not really known for his video game stuff really, but to me it's inspirational, and he's the one who's inspired me to come here. I would really like to be able to do an animated series based off of his book series, and I hope to work at 38 Studios one day and be able to shake his hand and tell him thank you for getting me here. I have some images here I'm going to show you guys, explain a little bit more about him and what he's done. I hope you guys enjoy. Here you have R.A. Salvatore in his normal attire. He's just an author. He's nothing special. He's just an average-looking guy. Pretty much almost every single image I've ever seen of him, this is about what he looks like. This is his character, Drizzt Do'Urden, which most of his book series are based upon. He's a dark elf, which their race is also known as the Drow. They live under the earth in these dark caves, and they have infrared vision, and they're just known as this evil race. And this Drizzt character just he doesn't stand for anything his people do, and so he ends up being exiled. Well, he exiles himself from them and just tries to do his own thing, in a good fashion. He's trying to be a good person and not like the race that that they're supposed to be. He created the book series The Legend of Drizzt, and it was mainly based off of the character Wulfgar, which is the character you see there in the middle. He's a barbarian, and but everyone liked this dark elf sidekick that he had, that he ended up making all of his book series based off of the elf. You can also kind of see off to the side there Brunor, who's like a dwarf or gnome, and he's got the battle axe. As you can see there's Brunor with his axe, Drizzt off to the side, and some bad guys. Here's another one of his books. He's got this magical pet Guinevere. It's a panther, and he's got this little onyx that he can summon the cat, and it can stay there for a while, and it fights with him. And as you can see, his weapon of choice here has always been the dual scimitar. He's like the most awesome fighter. He's just renowned for his fighting ability. No one equals him in his fighting ability. There's 12 books in the book series so far. There's supposed to be 6 more coming out here within the next 5 or 6 years, and I'm really looking forward to them. I've read almost all of them so far, and if anyone is a big reader, you should probably check him out. He also does other books with some of the side characters in the Drizzt series. This is just one of them, Servant of the Shard. It's based off of kind of this assassin and this other dark elf who's kind of like a smuggler, or, a hired man. He doesn't live, or he's not part of any major house clans or anything. He's just this outsider Drow that people usually hire to assassinate people or gain information on other houses or whatnot. But he writes these books for the Forgotten Realms. This is another one. It's called The Pirate King. He also did The Orc King and The Ghost King. All, again, Forgotten Realms books. He's also very well known for his Star Wars books, this one being Vector Prime. If anyone has watched or read the books, they'll know this is the book that Chewbacca dies in. And it was a big thing. People sent him death threats. They hated him for killing off Chewbacca. But it wasn't his idea. He was made to do it. He's just the writer of the book. He also wrote the book for the Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. I'm sure most people have seen the movie. Well, he wrote the book. As you can see here, you have Kurt Schilling, who's the owner of 38 Studios, ex-pitcher, baseball pitcher. Sitting next to him is R.A. Salvatore, And there in the middle is Todd McFarlane, being Todd McFarlane, as you can see. And off to the right is Ken Rolston. They're all part of 38 Studios and their design team. This is Kingdoms of Amular Reckoning, which is their game they are coming out with, or have came out with. And R.A. Salvatore is the creator of Worlds for 38 Studios. And as you can see in these images, I mean, obviously he didn't actually make the worlds himself. He, wrote them out and, had someone make them for him. But, I mean, just the expansion of them and how intricate they are. I mean, he's so detailed in his writing. I mean, you can see in all of the images and stuff just his style of writing. And I mean, if you're familiar with them, you'd recognize a lot of it in these images. Very gorgeous, very colorful. It draws you into the game, and that's what I think I love about R.A. Salvatore. Is in his writing, he can just draw you in, and to be able to put that in the game, I mean, that's that is definitely got to be good for the game.